Hey there, you mean DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I'm Mantis, and today we're diving into the heart of the green absolute Batman number 17 as Bruce Wayne reaches the summit of a botanical nightmare. Someone Bruce may have already encountered previously at Dark M. Is Dr. Pamela Isley still in there? Or has the Seventh Kingdom finally claimed its queen? Grab your gear. We're going to top that canopy to see the final terrifying transformation of an icon. Let's break down the chaos of Absolute Batman 17. We start with a haunting look at Pamela Isley's origin and the moment the seeds of her obsession are planted. Her mother calls Gotham the heart of the city, where, currently carries all five boroughs. But there's a tragic ticking clock here. Pam mentions her mother is already sick. She just doesn't know it yet. That dandelion isn't just a flower, it's a wish for survival that is going to take a very dark turn as Pam grows up. And she makes that wish. Smash cut to the present. A security officer is patrolling private property there in Gotham, noticing something is off. He discovers a pulsating organic pod, well, multiple of them actually, that pop to reveal a screaming skeletal plant creature. But obviously, Ivy appears behind him, her fingers elongated and vine like. This isn't the poison ivy you're used to. She's terrifying. She tells the officer, "Welcome to my wish." The dandelion wish from her childhood has mutated into this labyrinth of biotanical horrors. Ivy has been busy as she's terraforming Gotham. The GCPD is completely outmatched here, circling this glowing green nightmare that's taller than the skyscrapers. Did they already send in some troops? And we'll find out. Then we see Batman, but he's not in a jet, he's on foot and heading straight into the heart of the green, with Batman making his way inside the structure, wearing a heavy duty rebreather for the biological agents in the air. He's outfitted with massive industrial looking chainsaws attached to his forearms that could even make Bruce Campbell blush. He communicates with Alfred, who is monitoring the situation from a safe distance, and explains the previous law enforcement officers made their way in with an augmented mobile ultrasonic cannon. Wonder if this weapon can be used against them. Batman encounters a squad of what look like GCPD tactical officers, but Alfred tells Bruce there are no humans left that he can see on the scanner, and that a heavy moment for Batman, who's he's trying to save the city. However, as the officers turn around, their faces are revealed to be monstrosities, multi eyes, multi toothed monstrosities, with vines growing out of their helmets. We jump back a week to see street level Bruce Wayne. He's in normal clothes. He's obsessed with his friends, Waylon and Eddie, still trying to find them before they slip too far into their villainous personas. It's a tragic look at his mission. He's being bullied by Penguin's muscle, looking just like another drifter while, secretly carrying the weight of Gotham's future. Next, Bruce visits Dr. Tompkins at the hospital and they discuss Harvey Dent, who isn't just a guy with a scarred face whose head is, literally split into two halves, barely connected. He's a medical anomaly at this point, whose mind is physically fractured. And again, Bruce carries the weight of that failure. But look at the street scene. The public has embraced him as a hero, but kind of not how Bruce envisioned it. They're wearing DIY hoodies with Batman symbols and carrying bat axes. Bruce never wanted to be an icon or a leader. He wanted to be a ghost. And seeing the city turn his symbol into a brand for chaos shows he may be losing control of the narrative he tried to build. So back to Batman's assault on the green base. A high octane action sequence here where Batman shreds through the man plant hybrids. Bruce is fighting for every breath. And you see the vulnerability of that when his mask kind of gets snagged and pulled. He's really not an untouchable god at this point. He's a man in a suit of armor who is one breath of spore, little spores floating in the air there, away from becoming one of those monstrosities. After quickly dispatching the monsters, Batman wades through the green slurry, and Alfred wants to scrub the mission, but Bruce isn't having it. He tells Alfred that these things aren't just human plant hybrids, there's something more to them, and realizes the complexity of the mutation, tracing it back to his past encounters at Arc M. He knows exactly who is at the center of this web: Isley. Next, we get a flashback to Pamela at age 23, and she's in a lab, and she's researching genetic cytological engineering, injecting human stem cells with plant DNA. Now, Pamela wasn't trying to destroy the world, she was just trying to cure her mother. She saw the sickness of the city as a pathology and thought the only way to save life was to merge it all together. And that is the moment Pamela Isley dies and Poison Ivy is born. She decided to climb higher than anyone thought possible, even if it means leaving humanity behind. The scene shifts to the interior of a prison, and Bruce Wayne, in his civilian attire still, is sitting in an interrogation booth, separated by thick glass from an inmate. And on the other side is an elderly, balding, and gaunt Joe Chill, the man who murdered his parent, or his father, not his parents, just his father. And Bruce is trying to stick with routine here and keep his head straight. Apparently, part of that is trying to ask Chill why he killed his father. But every time, he never gets an answer. Now, Batman is back in the biohazard zone, and the horror has escalated. He's being swarmed by a few of the remaining monsters till a terrifying creature, which kind of looks like a seraphim, which, if you guys know what that is, it's a high angel, with multiple eyes and massive wings. Looking more like an avenging angel than a gardener, it actually attacks him and jumps on him, pins him to the ground, crushing the life out of him. Bruce doesn't have the leverage for a punch, so he goes for the heavy ordnance. He detonates a grenade point blank to shred the seraphim and buy himself some breathing room. That's when Bruce notices a hand reaching through the vines and pulls a friend from getting strangled. A friend, it's actually Barbara Gordon. After Bruce pulls Gordon from the vines, there was little time for small talk. It's not that Bruce doesn't care about Barbara. His senses tell him it's not going to get any easier from here on out, and it was likely a miracle that she didn't get killed already. She's got some courage, however, Batman isn't looking for a new partner today. So he takes her weapon, the AMUC, and pushes her off the ledge with a piece of his cape to act as a parachute to let her safely land. And with Barbara out of harm's way, Alfred's radio to Bruce that the higher he goes, the more denser the spores get. There's a giant green face of Pamela Isley woven into the architecture, watching Batman's every move as he continues to ascend. Next, we get another flashback of Pamela walking in a snow-covered park of Gotham. It's peaceful almost, but she's trying so hard to help her mother. But her research financiers, they only want the research for their monetary or even other motives. But with her mother in bad shape, she decides to go rogue and take her research somewhere private, somewhere she can complete it unbarred by her overseers and unbarred by the rules. Bruce returns to his mother's apartment, but hears her and Jim talking. She tells Jim how worried she is that Bruce is trying to carry the whole world on his shoulders while he's trying to help his friends recover. There's also something else. She seems like she's made up her mind on running for mayor of Gotham, but she has ties to things, to people, things that no one knows, that could come out in the public eye or even be used as leverage against her. As Jim and her kiss, Bruce can't stand this and he leaves, but not without a creak of the door, which of course Jim hears, and he walks into the hallway to see Bruce leaving. Jim knows he may have broken what trust he had with Bruce. And as Bruce walks the street, he's wondering if Batman has caused recent events in Gotham. the return of Jack Grimm, the Joker, or even partnering with the Red Hoods. Back to Batman's ascent now, and after fighting through a literal living nightmare, Batman finally breaks through the canopy. He patches through to Alfred that he's at the top. It sounds like a victory, right? Well, not so fast, my friend. And standing in the center of this botanical monstrosity is Pamela Isley. But she's not the Dr. Bruce remembers. She's staring out at the destruction with this haunting, serene look on her face. To her, this isn't a massacre, it's art. And she's brought a friend. And looming behind her is a massive, terrifying hybrid monster, a fusion of flesh and flora. And Isley looks at the carnage and whispers about how beautiful it is. And Bruce just says, Dr. Isley? And you can hear the disbelief in his voice. Batman is standing at the summit of a nightmare, still reeling from the realization that Dr. Isley is the monster behind the curtain. But Pamela doesn't see a monster. She sees a masterpiece as she pets her pet monster. Alfred is seeing the data and he's yelling into Bruce's ear, trying to snap him out of his shock. He knows there's no doctor left to save, and telling him to wait until she's close and use the MUC on her he got from Barbara. Bruce prepares to strike, but before he can even trigger the weapon, the ivy entangles him, and Batman is caught, pinned, rendered completely helpless by the environment itself. In one move, Batman loses his leverage, his weapon, and his breath. He's trapped at the top of the world that belongs entirely to Ivy. Ivy, now with a backing of monsters, has Batman pinned, but Ivy isn't looking for a kill. Remember, she's turned all of these GCPD officers that have come in there into her minions. She's looking for a convert. She looks at the struggling Dark Knight with serenity and tells him not to be afraid. She knows how frightening change can be. But she tells him it's time to let go of the old world. But of course, Bruce doesn't let go. Even restrained, he finds the opening. With a brutal surge of strength, he forces his arm upward and lets loose the one thing nature can't handle: flame. And for a split second, we see into Ivy's past, a moment of pure trauma where she thought the fire would consume her. But back then, the fire didn't kill her. It forced her to evolve. And Batman isn't holding back. He's pushing the flamethrower to the limit, burning through her, and asks Alfred, is she down? Now, Bruce is looking for a victory. But if history is any indication, fire only makes Pamela Isley stronger. Batman thinks he's won. He thinks he's burned the rot away, but as the smoke clears, the nightmare multiplies. He didn't kill the queen. He just burned a shell, and multiple Isleys surround him now, their voices overlapping, begging him one last time to just let go. Alfred radios Bruce that there's something massive up there with you. It's part human, part plant. It's part everything. Batman doesn't care about the illusions. He doesn't care about the change they're selling. He revs the saws, the blades spinning into a blur of cold steel as he yells that they're not even real. Then a massive, distorted shadow falls over Batman. A voice comes directly from behind him. No, they're not. As he turns, he realizes the doctor is gone. The woman was a dream. The real Poison Ivy has arrived. The monster that is Ivy stares down at Batman, and he wonders if Gotham may already be dead. With Batman face to face with what Isley has become, he's still in disbelief as she welcomes him to his wish. And we get a little extra here in the epilogue. We see Martha at a central plaza. I can't tell if it's a train station, maybe, making a call on a payphone. But to who? Keep in mind, there's some stuff in her past. She tells them she wasn't followed, and they answer they knew one day she'd come back to the court of owls. And that is how you end an issue. Bruce went up there expecting a fight he could win with fire and steel, but he realized he's been swinging at the shadows. Dr. Isley, he was trying to save, doesn't exist anymore. And Batman is out of weapons at this point. His chainsaw's kind of rubbing against the god there. And Alfred's watching his vitals, thinking, is he staring at his own grave? But what do you guys think? Is this the end of the road for Bruce? Or is there some hidden absolute gear that he's going to pull out and save the day? Drop your theories in the comments. I want to know how you think Batman gets off this roof. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification for more of our absolute DC coverage. I'll see you in the next one, if Gotham is still standing. Later.